In yesterday's lesson, we were looking at the topic in regards to how would a person make up for the qada fasts if his death approaches. And we even came across the question, how would an old person who is unable to fast make up for his qadas? So the answer that we gave was that he needs to give fidya for every single fast. And the fidya equates to feeding a poor person, feeding a miskin, or giving that miskin half a sa' of wheat, or its value is £3 to £5. Now, in today's lesson, we're going to look at the topic of fidya more in detail. Now, how much is the fidya? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Surah Al-Baqarah, fidyatun ta'amu miskin, that the fidya for missing a fast is feeding a miskin, feeding a poor person. Now, we said the option that a person, in order to fulfill the fidya, if he is unable to feed the poor person, then he can give the miskin half a sa' of wheat. And half a sa' was approximately 1.92 kg. So he can either give half a sa' of wheat, or he can even give one sa' of barley. And one sa' of barley equates to £8 roughly. So you can either give half a sa' of wheat, which is £3 to £5, or he can give one sa' of barley, which is £8 to each miskin, or he can give the money in sadaqah with the intention of fulfilling the fidya. So this is how much the fidya is, to be exact. Now, the second question we have today, can you give the fidya of many days to one miskin? We know that, for example, for every fast, you have to fulfill a fidya, you have to feed a miskin. So if, for example, you've missed 10 days and you are unable now to make up for it, or your death approaches, for instance, then now you would need to feed 10 masakin. You will need to feed 10 masakin. But can you give the fidya of 10 days to one miskin? The answer is that a person is allowed to split the cost of one fidya amongst many masakin. So, for example, if he gives the value, or he gives the wheat in sadaqah to fulfill the fidya, he can give the £3 to £5 and distribute it amongst three masakin. He can distribute it amongst three masakin. He does not need to only give it to one miskin. He can distribute it amongst three masakin. Similarly, it is permissible to give the fidya of 10 days to one miskin, as this will be easier. So he does not need to give it to 10 separate masakin. If he wants to, he can fulfill it and give it to one miskin. So he can give the value of the 10 days fidya, which will be £30. If you're looking at one day being £3, he will give the value of £30 to one miskin, and this will fulfill the 10 days fidya. And remember, fidya is not like kafara. We mentioned about kafara, that kafara has to be given on 60 separate occasions. So, for example, you can't give the value of 60 days to one miskin. You have to give it on 60 separate occasions. So you can either feed 60 masakin, or you can feed one miskin for 60 days. You can't feed that one miskin on for one day and giving him the total of the 60 days at once. That will not count in the kafara. But the fidya is different. If you have the fidya of feeding 10 masakin, or giving the value of 10 fidyas, then you can give the whole value of the 10 fidyas, which will be roughly £30, 30 or £50, whichever figure you're looking at. You can give the value of the whole 10 days fidya to one miskin. This will fulfill the fidya as well. And now the third question we have today, can one's children pay for the fidya of a person's prayers and fasts? Now, the fidya, it's like a zakat. And for this reason, the children cannot fulfill the fidya due on their parent with their own money. Just how zakat is due on our money, our children cannot fulfill the zakat which is due on our money with their money. Okay, the same with the fidya. Fidya is has the same rule, and when a person passes away, this fulfillment upon the children goes away. There's like the debts which are on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When a person passes away, the children do not need to fulfill this. But the debts which a person has with other Muslims or even non-Muslims, these debts should be and have to be fulfilled by the person's wealth. The children must make sure that these are fulfilled, or the person that has the debt, he will be questioned by this on the day of judgment. But in regards to fidya and zakat, these are debts by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So if a person passes away and he has not told his children, then his children do not and they cannot, the answer is they cannot fulfill this from their own wealth. But it is wajib and it is an obligation upon the person who has the fidya, that he leaves a bequest. He should leave a bequest to his children, ordering and telling them to fulfill the fidya due upon him from 1/3 of his wealth. So the answer, the children cannot fulfill the fidya upon their father or upon their mother, but the father or mother, the person who's passed away, the deceased, before he passes away, he should leave a bequest instructing his children to fulfill it from his wealth, from 1/3 of his wealth. And in the last question we've learned that a person who has a chronic illness, he's about to pass away from this illness, or a Shaykhul Fani, a very old person who is now unable to fast, how will they fulfill their fasts? They will give a fidya for every fast. But now we have the scenario, we have the case. What if a person, due to very old age or due to a chronic illness, he's paid for the fidyas of the fast, he's paid for the whole month's fidya, for the whole 30 days fidya, for the qada fasts, because he believes that because of due to my old age I can no longer fast, or due to my chronic illness I can no longer fast. So he's paid for the fidya, he's paid for the fasts. But now miraculously he gains the strength to fast. Now by a miracle he's got the strength now to fast, and he's in a good state of health for quite a number of days. Now what is the ruling for him? All the fidya that he gave for the Ramadan, all the fidya that he gave, this fidya will become nafal. And now because he has the strength to fast, in order to make up for the missed fasts, he will need to keep qada. Okay, he will need to keep qada. This is a very rare case, but this is only in the case when a person who is very old or he has a chronic illness, he's paid for his fidya, but now he miraculously becomes better. Then all the fidya that he's paid, that will become nafal, and in order to fulfill the qada, he will need to fast. He will need to fast. And even if he lives on for, let's just say, a few months, and in this time he has not made up for the qada, then the only way to make up for the qada now, he will need to give the fidya again. He will need to pay the fidya again. The fidya that he gave on the first account, that will all become nafal, and it will become optional. We pray that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us good understanding of this fidya, and give us the ability to understand these masail in regards to the fasting and in regards to the month of Ramadan. Ameen wa akhiru da'wana and alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.